President, at the outset, we'd like to thank the Colombian delegation for their presidency of the Security Council in June. And you, Mr. President, we'd like to congratulate you on assuming the presidency of the Security Council for the month of July. We wish colleagues from the DRC every success throughout their presidency. You can count on our support. We welcome the participation in today's meeting of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bahrain, Mr. Abdulatif bin Rashid Al Zayani. We thank ASG Elizabeth Speha for her briefing. Since the start of the escalation of the conflict in the Middle East in late February 2026, the Russian Federation took a principled and objective position vis-à-vis developments. Russia has consistently condemned the aggression waged by the U.S. and Israel against Iran. We pointed out that strikes on civilian infrastructure in all countries of the region are unacceptable. We stressed the need for respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of countries in the region as well. We're in favor of resolving the situation through political and diplomatic channels. There is, nor can there be, alternatives to this path. Against this backdrop, the Russian Federation welcomed an agreement on a cessation of the military conflict between the U.S. and Iran, with Pakistan's and Qatar's energetic and effective mediation. The MOU paved the way for further negotiations and instilled hope of a fully fledged peace. And yet, at the end of last week, we witnessed strikes exchanged. This exchange could have threatened the ongoing diplomatic efforts. As far as we can tell from the information we're receiving, first, an attack was waged on a Panamanian-flagged tanker in the Hormuz Strait, supposedly by Iranian forces. Then, the U.S. struck sites linked to military intelligence, communications, UAV warehouses, and anti-missile defense positions in the territory of the Islamic Republic of Iran. In response, the Iranians attacked the infrastructure of the U.S. armed forces on the territory of Bahrain and Kuwait. We believe that Iran, much like any other UN member state, has the right to self-defense, in accordance with Article 51 of the UN Charter. The enemy's military sites are, in this instance, logical targets. They do not enjoy immunity. We also heard statements by Iranian officials stating that these retaliatory strikes were conducted specifically on U.S. military infrastructure in the region. If, during the strikes, civilian sites were damaged, well then that warrants condemnation. Deliberate attacks on civilian infrastructure, irrespective of the country in which it's located, whether that be Iran or Arab states in the Gulf, are unacceptable. Russia has unswervingly underscored this in different fora, including at the Security Council. Mr. President, we shouldn't forget that there is just one root cause of these outbursts of escalation in the Middle East. That is the U.S. and Israeli aggression against Iran, which is not just a particularly flagrant violation of Iran's sovereignty, but which also posed a threat to the security of many other states in the region. In this context, we regret that our Arab friends were once again held hostage to yet another exchange of strikes between Washington and Tehran. In this case, the problem, from our vantage point, is related to the fact that the instigators of the military escapade against Iran, well, if they did think about the security of their partners in the region, it was only as an afterthought. Having said that, it's encouraging that despite what's transpired, the parties to the Islamabad Memorandum have reasserted that the ceasefire is in place and are continuing technical consultations on various aspects of the agreement reached on the 17th of June. We stand convinced that during this very sensitive period, heavy with responsibility, it's necessary to unswervingly implement the understandings crafted by Washington and Tehran so as to ensure there are no new flare-ups of conflict throughout the entire Middle East, including Lebanon. We expect that work on a comprehensive agreement will facilitate the restoration not only of lasting peace, but also trust between our friends on both sides of the Persian Gulf. We expect that the outcome of these efforts will be the resumption of unfettered and safe navigation in the Hormuz Strait. which would benefit the energy and the food security of the states of the Global South. The Russian Federation is open to facilitating the crafting of a comprehensive long-term agreement between the U.S. and Iran, as well as a broader regional agreement, should there be demand for our assistance. Against this backdrop, we'd like to once again draw your attention to the updated version of the Russian concept for collective security in the Persian Gulf zone, which we transmitted to our Arab and Iranian partners at the end of May. This document calls for gradual steps towards unblocking conflict situations, the principle of equal and indivisible security, the development of confidence-building measures, as well as ensuring the freedom of navigation in the Hormuz Strait on the basis of international law. We hope that this initiative will inject momentum into a substantive discussion on how we can build a post-conflict architecture of international relations in the region. We stand ready to continue providing diplomatic support to efforts aimed at stabilizing the situation in the Middle East. Mr. President, on a separate note, we'd like to underscore that the Security Council bears a special responsibility for maintaining negotiations and creating conducive conditions thereto. The Security Council should take a balanced and objective stance. We should avoid whipping up further tensions by making sudden moves, leveling politicized allegations, and ignoring the overall context of the situation. Any possible initiatives should be equidistant and aimed at ensuring a comprehensive settlement. Russia is unswervingly ready to take a constructive role in crafting an overall Security Council position on this issue. I thank you.